We see the demand coming back very quickly, even if we're not going to be back at the same level of 2019, but we're going to be back at operational level pretty quick or pretty soon when we're going to master the virus situation.
Eurostar also sends trains, of course, to Brussels and to Amsterdam. And since the beginning of the year, Eurostar has been operating only one return trip from London to Paris and one from London to Amsterdam per day. Statistics show these services have been running 80% empty. So, where is the government help? Well, Christophe Vanguélis of SNCF Voyageurs, which is the owner of Eurostar, offered his take on the issue. He said, the particularity is that Eurostar has two other defects. It's a French company in England, so it's not held by the English and it's not held by the French because it's in England. And he went on to say, it is a company which, in view of the traffic, is more affected than the air industry. So things looking quite tricky right now for the Eurostar. Let's bring in for the analysis Vanguélis Panayotis, who's CEO of MKG Consulting, for more on this. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Eurostar revolutionised train travel between London and Paris. How surprised are you by the news that it's now in dire straits?
No, I don't think anyone is that much surprised about the current situation. The whole mobility worldwide is hit by the current situation. We see the airlines and all the transportation, so it's normal that the Eurostar does not make any exception to that. Government
help, that seems to be the issue that the head honchos at Eurostar are picking on. Government help, French company based in England, neither the British government nor the French government wants to help. They've got to sort this out, haven't they, surely?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I hope we're not going to make a kind of remake of the Brexit negotiation. I think it does not make any sense here. After the Brexit now in 2021, we have to keep the connection between the countries in terms of economic impact when it comes to tourism visitors. The British citizen worth 6 billion for the French, for example, as tourism impact on the sector. So they need to find a common solution because there is a common interest that this Eurostar continue to operate.
Indeed, the Channel Tunnel, of course, as you point out, has done wonders for this cross-fertilisation between the UK and France, bringing more people back into and creating business opportunities. Brexit in some way puts a question mark on everything. We're seeing people in the UK now who were for Brexit sort of like reassessing what they think.
Yeah, you know, when the Eurostar or the connection started in '94, I think, there were a new kind of business that emerged from the situation. A lot of people, a lot of French people or European people decided to go to work in London, maybe in the financial market, because they could have this easy connection between the two countries. So it's more like 2 or 3 generations that is impacted, and I believe that love this way to connect the two countries and the two economy. I'm sure we're going to find a solution to finance the current situation, but I think it's still under the pressure of the previous Brexit negotiation. Hopefully, it's not going to last 4 years this time, because I don't think a private company like Eurostar may support this situation. But I think also what we should have in mind is that after the situation will be resolved, I'm speaking about the coronavirus, we see the demand coming back very quickly, even if we're not going to be back at the same level of 2019, but we're going to be back at operational level pretty quick or pretty soon when we're going to master the virus situation.
Indeed, sometimes the Eurostar can be a bit pricey, but you can't doubt the convenience of the whole thing. I mean, if I were to go and visit my kids, for instance, over in London, it's very, very simple, and it's something that works incredibly well. Can I just ask about this idea of the pandemic, though? Is what we're facing just the fact that, you know, any business, even the best-run businesses, even the most profitable and it seems efficient businesses, are struggling to survive right now?
Yeah, we see it with the airlines, everything which is related with mobility, that's the case. But I think the train is something a bit special. Now that we are all committed toward a more sustainable way of living and moving around. There were these trends before the COVID came about the flying shame. I think the train is probably one of the best way to travel across Europe. Of course, for long-haul traveling, you do need the plane. There is no better way or quickest way to proceed. But now that people want to go back to something which is more responsible in the way they use the transportation, I think the train is a key element. And also, many people maybe don't know it, but there were almost 13 destinations that were connected to London from the continent. So it's really a gateway with the train, a green way of moving from the British residents to continental Europe.
Indeed, a green way of moving. And I was going to ask you the question now about whether some businesses are just too big to fail, and surely the governments have got to try and work it out between them, or how they can sort of divide the bill, I suppose, to try to make Eurostar get over this bend in the track that it's facing because of COVID-19. But there's that other thing that you just pointed out, this green aspect of the whole thing. Surely it should be part of the future. It should be part of what happens next, and they can't let it fail.
No, it's for sure. It's a nonsense. I think everyone has understood that we should change or be more reasonable in our way we behave, we consume. Definitely, train is green energy. It's electric energy. So for me, it's a nonsense that they won't find a solution to maintain the connection. For sure, they will find a solution because there is too much stake on the table on both sides. The British need the mobility and the access. Also, they have a fantastic train station that accommodate the Eurostar. It's a central point of the strategy of the tourism for London City to have this gateway from the continent, and vice versa. The British citizens are very powerful and important clientele for most of the country in Europe, and specifically France, a bit of Benelux because it's connected to Brussels also. So it's the sense of history. I think we cannot go against. It's a nonsense politically speaking. So of course pressure, because there is a lot of money on the table now. So pressure is increasing. But I'm sure at the end of the day, as usual, after this crush as we have in rugby between the countries, they will go for the third half party, and things will go back to normal.
Indeed, troisième mi-temps. I'm trying to think of the way you put. I'm trying to think of how you put that in English. It's a tricky one. I think it's the post-match drink. Maybe you put it that way. Troisième mi-temps is that phrase. It's absolutely a fantastic phrase to use about the French rugby celebrations after the match when both teams get together and discuss the game over a couple of drinks. And some of the drinks are even alcoholic. Vanguélis, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us and giving us that analysis about Eurostar, its future, its problems, and what happens next, and why, the UK and France should maybe put their heads together, maybe in a little sort of rugby scrum situation to try and work out a future funding plan or something to try and keep Eurostar going. Vanguélis Panayotis, who's CEO of MKG Consulting. Thanks for joining us, sir.